Asante-Hene withdraws representatives from the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly KMA and other assemblies in the Ashanti region in protest of a sudden cut in number of representation.
Chiefs are being sidelined by the government. Our representation of KMA was 5 and now it's gone to 1. From an insignificant fraction. So how can we be heard? That is all we are saying. Give us our due. The time has come and we are insisting on it.
We have details as the Asanteman Traditional Council says has been sidelined by the government. We'll also hear from government on this. NDC says latest corruption perception index shows President Akufo-Addo has failed in the fight against corruption in Ghana.
It's still worse than the worst ever score of John Dramani Mahama, which is a score of 43. And so this is not the change Ghanaians were promised. This is not the change Ghanaians voted for.
Also in this edition, the Inspector General of Police ordered by an Accra High Court to produce CCTV footage for the day a Joy News journalist was assaulted and also file documents detailing the list of policemen who were on duty on the day of the event.
And coming up in business, government shows commitment to making Ghana a preferred investment destination as ongoing business reforms expected to yield desired results.
And later in sports, in our build-up to the Super Clash on Sunday, we'll hear from Ghana FA President Keto Kweku ahead of the game. Plus, the runaway Premier League leaders Liverpool are in action tonight. They are up against Wolverhampton Wanderers as they seek to solidify their lead on the English Premier League table.
Also in the bulletin, President Akufo-Addo commits to uphold the rule of law, individual liberties and independence of the judiciary as he encourages investors to choose Ghana ahead of others.
People are free to engage in political activity. The rules matter. The rights of people matter. Human rights matter. A system where you have independent judges who decide the law, not presidents and politicians. That's the system that we're trying to build in Ghana.
And later in the bulletin,
secret millions, Yamaya down to see a double. Life no they see, if some people know the hate. Sakongo, Consele. Muna digi she, DJ Uncle.
is the Secret Billions Fan Club, the Zongo girls wowing people on social media with funny quotes. I'll tell you more about that later on here on Newsnight. Please join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp. It's 0244340437. I am Emefa Apawu.
And my name is Mensah.
We settle for details here on Newsnight, brought to you by Puma Card from Puma Energy, cash-free convenience.
Well, the Asanteman Traditional Council under the authority of the Otumfuo Setutu II has tonight withdrawn its representatives from the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly KMA and other assemblies in Ashanti region, accusing government of sidelining them.
Now, according to the Bantumahene Bafo Owusu Amwankwetia, the Traditional Council feels eliminated in local governance representation in the various assemblies. He reviewed that the assembly formerly had 5 representatives on the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly and other assemblies. I will get some clarification on that from the KMA. They've been explaining. He, however, said the number has been reduced to 1 by the central government. The Traditional Council believes it is no more relevant in the local governance structure. Hence, the decision by the Asante-Hene Otumfuo to the second to withdraw all the traditional representation in the various assemblies across the Ashanti region. So the Bantumahene represented the Asante-Hene at the inauguration of and the swearing in of the 8th Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly and stressed that a formal letter has been sent to the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah. Listen.
Chiefs are being sidelined by the government because our representation of KMA was 5 and now it's gone to 1. And the chief executive was telling me it's 2. But we are saying that we are being sidelined. The reason being that we play a very serious role in the running of this country. Now, I believe that we went to Accra on this Galamsey issue. I think the whole of the chiefs in Ghana. Now, we were addressed by the president. And the first thing he said was that there can be no serious mobilization in this country without the involvement of the chiefs. And that is the reason why he's called us all to Accra. So that goes to emphasize, on certain times that we have a role to play. So today, when I was talking about that, that was what I was referring to. And it came from Mensah, it didn't come from me. Yes.
So is it an entrenched position?
If you say something is entrenched, it means that we will never come out of that position. No. We are saying that we are being, things are being done to the effect that, we are being overlooked in the running of the local areas, right? And we think that when it comes to the local areas, we hold the power, we hold the authority, we mobilize them. They listen to us more than anybody else. So we are saying that when it comes to that, it means that we are being sidelined. So things must be corrected. That is all we're saying. We are not saying that we have taken an entrenched stance, which means that we will never come out of it. No. We're saying that the way things are going, gradually we're being taken out of the center. Right? And when you being chiefs, we can't operate from the periphery. We have to be in the center. That is all we are saying. Because when serious matters come into this country, they rely on chiefs. Now when they are driving the market women, they say, I don't know, we went around. Because when they see us, they see, but when they see the politicians, they'll tell them, we are not going to vote for you. We have a role to play in the running of this country. And that rule must not be disturbed.
Some people were sworn in today. There's those who are representing the traditional authority. And so would those people, the appointment, would they be withdrawn?
Yes, it affects them as well. We're saying that even today, I got to know that the government has appointed 20. They are unelected members. They are 20, and the elected members are 40. You see, so ask yourself, what fraction does the chiefs form of the entire, council? We form an insignificant fraction. So how can we be heard? That is all we are saying. Give us our due. The time has come, and we are insisting on it.
So you had the Banta Mahene, Bafo Owusu Amankwetia, interacting with the media after the inauguration and swearing-in ceremony of the 8th Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, and also talking about the fact that they've withdrawn the representatives. We'll hear now from the Chief Executive of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, Osei. He told me a while ago that as far as he's concerned, the Traditional Council representative has not been withdrawn.
Did not been withdrawn.
Okay.
In fact, it was the chairman's opening remark, where the chairman, in his opening remark, made mention of the figure the Kumasi Traditional Council used to enjoy. And he made mention that the old Kumasi Traditional Council used to enjoy 5 slots, which I quickly came out to explain to the hearing of Nana, which Nana even understood, that the greater Kumasi has now been split into 70, which number has shrunk, has also given to making 8. So these numbers were added on, and I made it known to Nana, which Nana even nodded and agreed. So I don't know why he was only picked on the first statement, but the second one, which Nana made, was also not added on. So Nana steered the affairs to the successful end of the program. So there's no problem between the Traditional Council and that of Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly or the Ashanti region at large. And no withdrawal has also been made as at now.
Well, it's interesting that you say so because after the event, we had cause to interact with Bant Mahine, and in his remarks, amongst others, he says that they feel sidelined as a traditional council. And then you've talked about the reduction of numbers of representatives. He says that you explained to him that it is two now instead of the one, which is the previous five that he says. So he tells us that there is a communication from Mensah that they are withdrawing all their representatives from the assemblies because of this reason. You're saying that is not accurate.
Immediately, I explained to Nana Bant Mahine about current size of Kumasi, the current size of Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, and the 6 municipal assemblies that have been created.
That's rather interesting. I say that because he says that there's a formal letter that has been sent to the Ashanti Regional Minister. You say that all this happened before the program.
I have not received any letter yet, please.
So that has not been brought to your attention, this decision from the Ashanti.
No, please don't drag me further because I have not received any letter yet. It was the statement that he's made and the explanation that I gave. And I can't go further to this explanation that I've given to you.
How will the assembly be affected if this is actually brought to your attention?
I can't go far because they've not been withdrawn.
So anything that we've heard from the Bant Mahine is nothing to go by at this point?
What I'm saying is that he said it and I explained. And once he sat in and witnessed the swearing in of all of them and congratulating them means that he has really understood everything and will send the message back.
You have the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly Chief Executive, Osei Esibe. Let's speak to our reporter, Emmanuel Kwesi Debra. He sat through the inauguration and swearing-in ceremony. He joins us on the line. Kwesi Debra, first clarify for us, at which point did the media speak to the Bant Mahine, before or after the ceremony?
Yes, this statement came before with regards to the threat that Bant Mahine, Bapo gave at the beginning. So this statement came. And, I heard the mayor talking about that he spoke with the Bant Mahine and he agreed that this was going on and that he is okay with it. But I must say that after the whole thing, when the whole program ended, he spoke with Bant Mahine also and he clarified that indeed they have sent letters to the ministry and also to the Ashanti Regional Minister stating their grievances, what they think is not right. With regards to the numbers that they have now, has been reduced from 5 to 2, and of course, what the mayor also explained is due to the restructuring. And that is what he told us, that if they go on with that, because you see, Greater Kumasi is where Ashanti, the king's seat is. That's His Royal Highness Sotufo II. That's where he is. And with the representation, it's very important to them because in all matters, talking about security, talking about affairs of Kumasi, they are at the center. And this is a case where they've been reduced to, and he thinks that's not right. They should have a greater control when it comes to Greater Kumasi. And so this is the caveat he's given from the beginning. And as I said earlier, they've copied the regional minister and also the ministry that this is what they intend doing. If they don't go back to the original thing where they haven't much representation on the assembly, then it means they're going to withdraw all their members and also all their representatives from the KNA and also the other assemblies. Emefa.
Well, that's an interesting development because I'm sure you heard the chief executive of KMA insisting that representatives of the traditional council have not been withdrawn, but the Bant Mahine was also categorical that they've been withdrawn. What exactly can you draw from all this? Because you witnessed the ceremony, you saw all that happened, and then after that interview, and then you've heard from the chief executive of Kumasi as well.
The mayor, of course, he is here. He is in control of Kumasi, and I know he will try and paint a very good picture about the whole situation. But I'm telling you this, that Mensah is really peeved about this, and with the letters that they sent out, it means that they will take action in no time. I can't say that they've withdrawn because the two members, the reduction from the 5 to 2, the 2 members were sworn in today. But with a threat which is now out, and of course the mayor has said of the whole thing, it means in no time these representatives will be withdrawn.
That's my colleague Emmanuel Kwesi brother. We are grateful. Let's leave it here for now, and then.
So the controversy is about whether or not the Mensah Palace has indeed withdrawn their representatives. I think for now, as far as the Mensah Palace is concerned, that is not in doubt. Because the Bantam Mahine, who, from what I understand from my colleague Elting, who worked and lived there for a while, is sort of the defense minister for the Tumfor. And they're going to play back that question that was asked him again about does it affect today's event as well? And he was categorical that yes, it has.
But when they see the politician, they'll tell them we are not going to vote for you. We have a role to play in the running of this country, and that role must not be disturbed.
Some people were sworn in today. Well, there's those who are representing the transitional authority. And so would those people, the appointment, would they be withdrawn?
Yes, it affects them as well. We're saying that even today, I got to know that the government has appointed 20. They are unelected members, they are 20, and the elected members are 40. You see? So ask yourself, what fraction does the chiefs form of the entire, council? We form an insignificant fraction. So how can we be heard? That is all we are saying. Give us our due. The time has come, and we are insisting on it.
So that's the Bantam Mahine. Let's bring in the former president of the National Association of Local Authorities of Ghana, Mr. George Bafo. We're grateful for your time here on Newsnight. So what's your own reading of what is happening, judging from what you've heard so far from the various sides?
Yeah, thank you very much, and greetings to your church listeners. It's rather a very unfortunate situation because we need to place all these issues in context. In principle, I agree with the sentiments of the traditional authority. But you see, we have to look at the framework within which these appointments are made. In Article 242D, the President has the prerogative to appoint 30% of membership to Assembly. And he does so in consultation with traditional authorities and other interest groups. So it's not an issue about institutional representation, like 30% give it to institutions who would represent the institutions. That's not the position of the Constitution. And then again, if you look at the functions of the assembly, the assemblies are corporate bodies that have corporate functions and corporate responsibilities. It's not like a group of people say they belong to the trade unions and they are going into the assembly to pursue their trade union agenda or something. The assembly takes decisions as a corporate structure and within a corporate context. So that has not gotten much to do with whether an institution is represented or not. Again, KMA has diminished. The larger KMA has been compartmentalized. There are a lot of municipal assemblies have been created out of KMA, and KMA has become smaller in terms of membership, numerical strength. So it is not possible for the traditional authorities to maintain, continue to maintain their membership. If they were 5, definitely once the assembly's membership has come down, their numbers will also reduce. So if they are 2, I think that they would have to appreciate that. And then finally, I think that there's a lot of education that ought to be done on the modalities for appointment of government appointees to the assembly. And then it should be done alongside the functions of the assembly. We need to educate all these groups to understand what the issues are, how the appointments are done, so that they can appreciate the issues better. Doesn't look like institutional representation and then creates problems.
We're grateful for your time. That's the former president of the National Association of Local Authorities of Ghana, Mr. George Bafo. There, you're still listening to Newsnight. What are your thoughts? What are you deducing from whatever you've heard so far? You can send us a message via WhatsApp. It's 0244 340 437.
You're still listening to News 90 on Joy 99.7 FM. The opposition NDC says the latest 2019 Corruption Perception Index released by Transparency International shows President Akufo-Addo has failed in the fight against corruption. The index published by the Ghana Integrity Initiative shows Ghana maintained its score of 41 out of 100 on the index, just as last year.
But Ghana dropped by 2 places on the ranking of various nations. Now, the NDC, in a statement, listed various alleged corrupt acts that put the nation in a bad light. A statement was issued today and signed by the Communications Officer of the NDC, Samit Jemfi, and my colleague Joseph Opokugapo has a copy of the statement and joins us in studio with it. What does it say, Joseph?
So it details why the NDC is convinced that the nation is headed in the wrong direction when it comes to the fight against corruption specifically. And the NDC says that the corruption fight under President Akufo-Addo, as highlighted in the CPI, shows that the NPP administration's best score is not as good as the worst score of former President John Mahama, which was 43 as at one of the times when he was President of the Republic. The NDC goes on to say that Nana Akufo-Addo's deceitful mantra of being an incorruptible president is what has been exposed by this particular ranking, and they say that the president promised that he was going to fight against corruption, but that hasn't been seen over the years.
But what are the alleged corruption cases that the NDC says are destroying the nation's image? They list a number of them.
They do list a number of them. They say there's been a situation with busts, there's been a situation with cash for seats. They list the Australian visa scandal. They say that the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company has also seen some situations of corruption. They say there's been a situation at the Oslo Chancery. They list the Kelny GVG situation. Then they talk of some corruption at Metro Mass, and also they speak of the fight against illegal mining. And the NDC goes on to say that even various heads of institutions who have been charged with the fight against corruption are not doing their job. And then they go on to make the point that even the office of the special prosecutor is not exactly working as they ought to.
We can hear from the Communications Officer of the NDC, Samit Jemfi, on this.
Yes, we have taken notice of the latest CPI and the fact that Ghana has dropped 2 places, as compared to our performance last year. Clearly, this is yet another dent on Ghana's reputation and a reflection of the endemic corruption that has engulfed the Akufo-Addo government.
If you say we've dropped 2 places, yes, we have dropped 2 places, but that's in the ranking, because there's a difference between the ranking and the score. If you look at the score, we still maintained what we had in 2008.
And the score, if you go to school, my sister, and you score an F, and say in year 1, and you repeat that same score in year 2, it doesn't mean that you have done well because you repeated your score in year 1. Because that repeated score is an abysmal score. President Mahama, the predecessor of President Akufo-Addo, who he, lambasted when in opposition, achieved the highest ever score ever to be recorded by this country relative to the CPI in 2014, a score of 48. That is Ghana's best ever score. President Mahama's worst ever score under the CPI was what was recorded in 2016, a score of 43%. And given the promises President Akufo-Addo made in opposition, the talk about incorruptibility, the fact that he was going to ruthlessly deal with corruption in his government and protect the public purse, Ghanaians expected him to do better. But so far we know that his best ever score is a score of 41. In 2017, he scored 40. 2018, 41. And 2019, he has repeated that by scoring another 41. That score of 41 is still worse than the worst ever score of John Dramani Mahama, which is a score of 43. And so this is not the change Ghanaians were promised. This is not the change Ghanaians, voted for. It is a clear betrayal of trust.
So that's the Communications Officer of the NDC, but government has been reacting to this. Do we know what they've been saying?
Well, they say they would be issuing a statement in order to react officially to the issues coming out of the Corruption Perception Index. But, government responses are citing some examples and making the point that whoever writes an exam should actually be focusing on the score that they get out of the exam and not exactly the number of people who are actually writing the exam, so that then if your score is good enough and you passed, that's the analogy they're citing. You shouldn't be worried about how many other people you didn't perform better than. But they insist that very soon a statement will be out to officially respond. But as far as they are concerned, they have done well when it comes to the fight.
Let's put that in context. So depending on where you stand, you can spin the CPI as released today a million ways. In fact, two ways. If you are NDC and criticizing government, you focus on the ranking, because in the ranking, government indeed dropped a few places. But if you are government, as you've just indicated, Gapo, you focus on the score, because if you look at the score, we've been stable from 2018 to 2019. So the score, as we have it, is 41. 41. Last year we had 41 also, right? But if you look at the ranking, we had dropped now to 80 from where we previously used to be. And so, depending on where you stand, government says the most important thing to focus on is the score. NDC looks at the ranking because that shows a certain dip. Fact checking also. Sami Jefi says Joe Mahama's worst performance was 43. 43 is the higher the score, the better you are performing. The lower, the worse. So indeed, it's true. The worst John Mahama had was 43. John Mahama had the highest around 2014 with 48%. That's the highest we've peaked, and then we started dropping to 47, 43. Then Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo came in. 2017 was the lowest we've had in a long time, which was 40, and then we did better in 2017. 41, just 1 percentage point, and we've maintained that. So that is the explanation of the CPI. There's a lot of politics in it, but the hard facts are there for everybody to see.
But staying a while longer on corruption, though, there have been some rallies already, and it's an election year as expected. The second Deputy Speaker, Alban Bagbin, at a rally in Techiman, said Ghana is the most corrupt country in Africa and the third in the world. Listen.
It's not for anybody to come and deceive you. You have experienced both. But for me, I can tell you that I have no doubt in my mind that during the time of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Ghana was going forward. We thought he was not doing well. We were misled. Today, we have His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and Ghana is going backward. As we talk today, Ghana is seen as the most corrupt country in Africa. We are third in the world. That is the result of Transparency International. It's not me saying it.
Well, the executive director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Lindo Forikwafo, has been reacting to this because her organization, the mother organization that she works with, has been mentioned by the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament. We can listen to Lindo Forikwafo.
Actually, if you look at our performance so far, there is no way that Ghana will ever now, at least for now, be the third most corrupt country in the world. And I think because DI was sending out teasers, so people tried to play a fast one on us. This is not the first time it's happening. But there's one thing we should actually know. In as much as we Ghanaians, we continue to do the things we do, thinking that we're actually trying to work against a particular political party, we are not doing well for ourselves, because the impact or the negative effect of such issues does not only affect the party in office or the politician or the president. Actually, it impacts the whole country as the third most corrupt country in the world. So you might think you are doing some damage to government, but you're actually not presenting Ghana well in the eyes of people who might not actually see the real CPI score.
That's the Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Linda Ofori-Kwafo.
Still listening to News Night on Joy 99.7 FM. The IGP, the Inspector General of Police, has been directed by an Accra High Court to file documents detailing the list of policemen who were on duty on the day Joy News journalist Latif Idris, my colleague, was assaulted. The IGP is also expected to produce CCTV footage, of course, covering the day of this particular event. Latif, in March last year, dragged the Attorney General and the IGP to court for alleged assault by policemen on March 27, 2018, while covering news of the arrest of former Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Kokwan Idoho, at the police headquarters. My colleague Efwa Evans Chinri has more.
Latif Idris in March last year sued the Inspector General of Police and the Attorney General demanding 10 million Ghana cedis in compensatory damages for assaults by policemen on March 27, 2018. Mr. Idris was assaulted by policemen while covering news of the arrest of former Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress at the police headquarters. Multimedia Group Limited, the second plaintiff, said that Mr. Idris was assaulted in the line of duty on the day of the incident. The plaintiff said that the said occasion or events concerned investigations over serious crimes which provoked public interest and saw a section of citizens massing up at the Criminal Investigations Department headquarters. In court today, the defendants were given up to the 6th of February 2019 to supply the document duly discovered, file witness statements, and return to the court on the 1st of April. The plaintiffs were represented by Rosalind Kaleji, who held brief for Samson Ladia Yeneni for plaintiff, while the IGP was represented by lawyer Ernest Kofi.
And that's Ifwa Evans Chinri's report, and that's the situation from the court today. Let's do business now. Charles Aite has the latest. Charles.
Hello, Emefa. So coming up in business, government shows commitment to make Ghana a preferred investment destination as ongoing reforms. According to government, ongoing reforms is yielding much results. We hear from Kojo Opono Nkrumah, the Minister of Information. Also, Africa to lead the world in renewing energy as the UK government ends support for thermal and coal mining. Business on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN. Welcome to a new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, number one-stop shop for all office essential. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Hello, Lieutenant. Thank you for showing up at our monthly meeting. I have some good news for you today. Electricity credit, Hey! Oh, relax. I am not increasing it. I just want you to know, from today, you have your own meter. So now you buy exactly what you want to use. Flexi bundling.
What's your customize, Anna?
Oh, yes. Just like that. And it doesn't expire too.
Life is good with MTN Flexi Bundle. Now you have full control to pick and choose your very own bundle packages. Whether you want to bundle 3 pesos, 20 pesos, 20 CDs, 30 pesos, or even 115 CDs, we dare for you. Just dial *138# or *170# to enter any amount. And bingo, you are good to go. So go ahead and enjoy bundles that don't expire. That's why we're good together. We dare for you everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality man to long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
We
know it's important to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in your employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated and licensed by the National Health Insurance Authority to provide medical insurance services to institutional clients, families, and individuals. Apex Student Package and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance Office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, or call
0501-683-914
or 0232 000 015. In Kumasi, we are located opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and in Takrady, Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, government has reiterated its commitment to make Ghana the preferred business destination in Africa. This, the Minister of Information, Kojo Opono Nkrumah, says is one of the surest ways to beat competition in the global space for attracting foreign direct investment. Joy Business got in touch with the Minister on the sidelines of the just-ended Investment and Opportunities Summit in London.
Capital is always difficult to come by anywhere in the world. The way to ensure that you get flows of capital is to, first of all, have a fertile opportunity. Secondly, be good at marketing that fertile opportunity. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We've done some work in the last 3 years to put government of Ghana and Ghana on a good level on the investment pedestal. What now remains is to market it in a very attractive way to the investment community, so that they will see Ghana as the opportunity among the various opportunities. And that's what we've been doing here for the last 2 days. The President himself set the tone, and then we went into specific sectors: agriculture, industry, natural resources, digitization, financial services, seeking to attract investments and skills to complement what we're doing in Ghana. And we are hopeful that it would deliver some good results for us at the end of the day. You recall in my closing submissions, I was making the point that we need people to come on board, and if you have any challenges whatsoever, be quick in drawing our attention to it through the GIPC so that they can facilitate what needs to be done, and then you can also now have an opportunity to settle and do the business.
Information Minister Kojo Opono Nkrumah. Now, as the world contends with challenges relating to climate change, which is the main issue being discussed at Davos, where the World Economic Forum is happening, the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said that his government will not spend a dime of taxpayers' funds on non-renewable energy in Africa or any part of the world. Boris Johnson said the UK is now focused on helping African nations in the area of solar and other renewables.
A decade ago, we were the most carbon-heavy nation in Europe, one of the most carbon-heavy nations in Europe. Today, we're a world leader in offshore wind. We regularly generate more of our electricity from renewables than from fossil fuel, regularly. And we have almost entirely weaned ourselves off coal. But there's no point in the UK reducing the amount of coal we burn if we then trundle over to Africa and line our pockets by encouraging African states to use more of it, is there? We all breathe the same air, we live beneath the same sky, we all suffer when carbon emissions rise and the planet warms. So from today, the British government will no longer provide any new direct official development assistance, investment, export credit or trade promotion for thermal coal mining or coal power plants overseas. Put it simply, not another penny of UK taxpayers' money will be directly invested in digging up coal or burning it for electricity. And instead, we're going to focus on supporting the transition to lower and zero carbon alternatives. First, by helping you to extract and use oil and gas in the cleanest, greenest way possible, and we're world leaders in that and have much to share. Our support for solar and wind and hydro and all the other carbon-free sources of energy that surround us and are just waiting to be.
That was UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson there. Now, President Akufo-Addo will be inaugurating a new greenhouse village in Akomadane in the Ashanti region next month to complement the efforts of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture in boosting food production. Speaking for the Ministry of Food and Agriculture at the Greenhouse Open Day in Akuse in the Eastern region, the officer in charge of fruits and vegetables, Esther Ajikum, said government was committed to increasing food production using new farming tools.
The objective is to place Ghana as a key competitor in the export of vegetables and cut flowers. The greenhouse Village initiative was started at Dowenya in the Greater Accra region, and further expansion are being made by adding facilities like a nursery, post-harvest parking house, among others. Plans are far advanced to construct 2 more greenhouse villages across the country. For instance, one of the greenhouse villages is expected to be constructed at Weja Kaswa to serve the people of the central region, and then the western region. Another greenhouse village is expected to be constructed in Akumadan in Ashanti region to serve the people of Ashanti and the northern part of Ghana. The second one, which is the Akumadan greenhouse village in the Offensive North district, is expected to be inaugurated by the President Akufo-Addo in February 2020.
Officer in charge of fruits and vegetables at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Esther Ejikum.
Charles, are you on MTN?
No, I'm not.
You're not? Okay, no. I mean, those who are on MTN would have experienced some challenges. You are, yes, on your new flashy, silky iPhone. Oh, yeah. But I'm sure you've been experiencing some of the challenges over the last, 2 weeks or so?
You haven't received yours yet?
You haven't received your 2 gig?
I haven't, yes.
Oh, well, let's get some answers for you and others who may be seeking further clarity on whether they are completely out of the woods. We can speak to Corporate Services Executive Samuel Cranting, who is on the line. Hello, Samuel. Thank you for your time here on Newsnight. So, is MTN and the fiber issues completely out of the woods now?
Hello and good evening to all. Yes, as we communicated earlier, we came out of what was proverbially the woods, and on Sunday we have had speeds up, and as you are aware, we have also started communicating to data subscribers that as a result of the downtime over the weekend, we have started sending an inconvenience package of 2 gigabytes to all our data subscribers. So we've sent SMS messages to them, and most of quite a large chunk of them have started receiving their 2 gig, and the system is still churning out the 2 gig to others as we speak.
So for my colleague Emefa, who is here by the way, who hasn't received her 2 gig yet, your assurance to her and others will be what? They should expect it?
Yes, certainly. They should expect it. It should be coming onto their phones very, very soon.
I've also heard concerns from people who say people say they're still experiencing some form of data challenges. What will be the explanation for that, for those who may still be having challenges right now?
I am not aware of those challenges as I speak, but then the feedback is good. Once we finish talking, I would contact our engineers to find out whether there are any issues on the network.
But you don't expect going forward that based on the work that has happened so far, that there should be serious challenges with data with MTN, at least in Ghana, for the shortest long, medium term?
No, we don't expect any challenges. What happened was, as you would recall, it was the wax cable that was cut in 2 places. What we did was to quickly arrange capacity on other cable systems to be able to put our traffic on there as we wait for the wax cable to be repaired. That takes a couple of weeks. So it isn't the repaired cable that we're using to provide data connectivity. There we are on, we're taking capacity on other cable systems, and that's how we're providing the capacity for data connectivity.
Thank you very much. Samuel Cranting is an executive there with MTN, and so he says expect your
I'm waiting.
2G?
Yeah, I'm waiting.
2G.
2 gig. Have you received yours?
I'll check. Still with us here on Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM.
success, our passion. Free no day, for Vodafone, Vodafone cash, send money for free.
There are no charges or deductions when you send money on Vodafone cash. Just dial *110# to send any amount of money as many times as you like to any Vodafone number for free.
Who's free no day?
The future is exciting. Ready?
I'm here because of music, and if not for music, I can actually point blank say that I wouldn't be here if not for music. Music actually nurtured me. I mean, I've met a lot of people. Fans means a lot to me. Before you get a hit song out there, a number of people that love the movement, the number of people that actually want to be a part of your story, and those are the people we call fans. The social impact is actually 100% based on motivation. I mean, the things I put out there, how I inspire people. And my music is like a vehicle where people join and it directs them to, specific places they want to be sometimes. Hi, it's a rock style called music, and I'm here for the music, for the fun, and for the impact. This is not all three. Rock's number one.
3 Music Awards, here for the music.
Thanks for staying with us here on Newsline. Let's head to Davos now, shall we, Evans? President Akufo-Addo says his commitment to the rule of law, upholding individual liberties, and an independent judiciary cannot be questioned.
Well, for him, the country's transformation agenda can only strive in an atmosphere of peace and stability, addressing business leaders, including international movie star Wesley Snipes. You know the movie he did?
Yes, I do.
Blade.
57.
Oh, and Blade, of course. Blade, yeah. On the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, President Akufo-Addo said after 6 successful elections, the country's democracy has fully matured.
We've had several elections, I think 7. We've been able to organize the transfer of power on 3 occasions through the ballot box. So I think Ghana as a democracy, as a functioning democracy, is now well established. And it's extremely important that we continue that trend. People are free to engage in political activity. The rules matter. The rights of people matter. Individual liberties matter. Human rights matter. The rule of law matters. A system where you have independent judges who decide the law, not presidents and politicians. That's the system that we're trying to build in Ghana. And in doing so too, we believe that a strong market economy is the way forward for our country. A strong market economy with strong companies and enterprises, the ones that will deliver the prosperity that we're looking for. And so doing too, we're not insular. Not only are we Pan-African in outlook, but as far as the rest of the world is concerned too, we're making friends with those who want to be friends with us. We're reaching out and making friendships across the globe. And that freedom to defend, to befriend who we want is a very important matter for Ghanaians. Nobody can tell us who to be friendly with or not to be friendly with. We will make that decision ourselves.
Also at the London Stock Exchange, President Akufo-Addo said government is seeking to build a value-added industrialized economy.
Should be a big stimulus for what we're trying to do in Ghana, which is to develop a modern, value-added, industrialized economy which is driven by private sector activity. We're doing so within the context of a country that is deeply committed to democratic institutions, to a state organized on principles of the rule of law and the principles of democratic accountability. This is the context within which Ghanaian development is taking place. And for it to succeed, we need the instruments that can mobilize the capital that is required for our development. And I believe that this partnership is a partnership that will assist our country considerably in this endeavor. So we're very, very happy that we've been able to get to this point, and we're hoping the transformation of our country that we are all working assiduously for.
Well, in the audience was former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Tony Blair, and he is very optimistic about the future of Ghana.
When I talk to people in different parts of the world, there is a sense that the country is on the move and people want to be part of that story. And when you create that sort of confidence in a country, it has a reinforcing effect. So I think the other thing I would say is that there's still so much potential there to be developed. In the tourism sector, in agriculture, in mining. But the important thing, and I say this all the time to outside investors, is that there's a government that's willing and able and anxious to get that investment into the country. The other thing is young Ghanaians are immensely good people to be around. The technology sector is now beginning to take off and thrive in Accra and elsewhere in Ghana, which is really, really important. And I think it was an amazing thing to do this year of return, which I think around was it 750,000 or thereabouts. I am an optimist, but I'm an optimist for good reason. I think there is a stability, a real sense of opportunity about the country today.
Former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair. Let's do sports now. Benedict Owusu joins us in the studio. You don't know Passenger 57?
I watched it. All right, so we are building up to the super clash between Asante Kotoko and Accra Heart of Folk this coming Sunday. And ahead of that game, Ghana FA President Keto Kuku has been explaining their decision to hold a press conference today. Now, in a short ceremony, we saw representatives of the two teams. Ket talked about the need to promote the two glamorous teams in the country.
We are all surprised that for the very first time, we're having a press engagement directly involving the Football Association. We believe that it's important for us to use our best platforms to push the good things that we're doing for Ghanaian football. This weekend, we have perhaps the biggest game on the Ghanaian football calendar. The two combatants, Accra Heart of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. There can never be a better platform for us to show all the good things about the Ghanaian game that we have today. Usually, the process will be between the two head coaches. The two clubs have their own opportunity to have their own process, where the two coaches would engage themselves. Today, it's for those of us who manage the sport. So you can see here on the high tables, not the head coach of Kotoko, Maxwell Kunedu, or the head coach of Accra Heart. We have reps from the management level.
So that was Ghana FA President Keto Kuku. Well, tonight there's a big game at the Monolo Stadium. That's where Liverpool will come up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. They are seeking to extend their lead on the English Premier League table. And some Australian news, open news coming through. World number one, Rafael Nadal has reached the third round of the championship with a straight set win of Argentina's Federico Del Bonis. Now he swept him aside 6-3, 7-6, 6-1, and he will go on to face compatriot and 27 seed Pablo Carreño Busta next. Did you watch No Retreat, No Surrender?
Oh, look at you.
Oh, did you watch?
Charlie.
But you asked about Passenger 57.
You're digging a hole and you're just getting into it.
No Retreat, No Surrender.
And you don't know. And you don't know.
Van Damme's Hard Truth.
This guy is a Kobolo.
Who was the brewman?
Which one?
Who was the brewman?
In the hashtag it. Who was the brewman? And who was the killer?
And No Retreat, No Surrender. Who was the brewman?
Who was Van Damme?
That's Benedict.
No Surrender is Chuck Norris. That's Chuck Norris. He simply wants to impress you. I mean, and for those of you who don't know what a broma is, that is the protagonist in the movie, and then the killer is the opposite of protagonist. Still listening to News 9 here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, he lived a good life in the UK and only returned home for holidays. But little did the man who only gave his name as Eric know that misfortune lurked in the corner.
While on his way to Pram Pram, his car was involved in an accident after he was crossed by another vehicle. He has spent all his savings on medical bills, but is still unable to walk again and remains indoors here in Accra. He shared his story on Arrive Alive, our road safety campaign to reduce the carnage on Ghana's roads.
The other car was overtaken.
we collided. Apart from my damage to my head, I had broken legs. My 2 legs were fractured, and I was sent to a private hospital. They call it Greenville, and later rushed to Kolebu Hospital. As we speak, I'm in bed. I can't walk. I can't stand on my legs. And my friend is also, he was admitted at the General Hospital. He is also discharged at home. He can't do anything. He can't walk. He can't.
So sorry to hear that. I understand that apart from having the silicone and implants inserted in both of your thighs, you have 2 nurses attending to you around the clock.
2 nurses with me at this very minute.
And they are always there with you?
Yes, 24 hours.
With you first. How does it make you feel knowing that you were able-bodied, you were fine before the 6th of December, and now you're bedridden?
Well, I feel just let down that coming to Ghana on holiday and to end up this way, yes, I can't get my head around it. The way things are done in Ghana, the style of driving and everything. And the driver of the 4-wheel drive car drove away. He escaped. Don't drove away. Yeah, he ran away from the scene. I don't know whether the police have arrested him or not.
More and more persons are joining the campaign with the hashtag #ArriveAlive, and the latest is the Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo, and he's joined the campaign, and he's suggesting that immediate construction of speed ramps should be constructed at accidents for hotspots.
Think it should be of concern to any Ghanaian. I've heard the road minister promising that they are going to dualize some of our roads, which is very encouraging news, but that is not going to happen today or next year. So my simple suggestion is that why don't we construct speed ramps at all the accident-prone areas? Wherever there is a blind spot where we think accidents can occur or do occur, why don't we within the next 2 weeks construct speed ramp, standard ones of course, and I think that will keep the people alive until the dualization arrives. Our observation, which will soon come out, I think in less than a month or next month, our report will go to Parliament. You will see that the major observation is that the quality of the roads are not good. The roads are not constructed to meet the standard specified in the bill of quantity. I think that one disease which kills Ghanaians most is corruption. My thumbs up for you. You are doing fantastic job. I think it is a responsibility that all Ghanaians should take, and I would like to play my part to ensure that people arrive safe or alive.
Well, that is the Auditor General, and he talks there about what they are beginning to discover in their own auditing of roads, and that it's simply about poor quality roads. People are just getting the contracts but not doing what they were built to do in the contracts. And if you look at our hashtag #ArriveAlive, a few of you are actually taking pictures of some roads and sharing with us. Digital Media says it has a picture of a road, a terribly destroyed road. It says our maintenance culture as a country is very bad. As you see the picture he shared there using the hashtag #ArriveAlive, it's pretty tragic. Also, Michelle Lejukum says something must be done to reduce road accidents. Still on that subject on the page on Twitter, Emmanuel says never again, and again he attaches an accident in which we had one of the Metro Mass transit buses completely destroyed. It's amazing to imagine that people actually survived that particular crash.
And a message just coming on our WhatsApp console. There's a fatal accident on the Achimota Amasaman stretch of the road, and he's asking that we use our platform to reach out to the authorities to get there and control the traffic on that stretch towards the Amasaman. And as we talk about accidents on our roads and our campaign #ArriveAlive, Driving to Kill is our latest hotline documentary, and it will be aired on Monday on the Joy News channel and also on the Super Morning Show on Monday. And Driving to Kill is the latest hotline documentary coming up soon. And just before we go, there are a group of pretty Zongo girls who have suddenly become a social media sensation. In one of their viral videos, their leader is seen holding a microphone and reciting some interesting quotes their colleagues respond to with glee. We've been sampling some of them for you.
You know who we are. Secret Millions, Yamaya download see a double. Let's know they see. If some people know they is. So we do some mind for you want when I see a mind. It's your brave boy. Missing maybe a meeting. Who won't try us? When you get Koyoyo. Supporter himself. They done show now and show her. They enter the way in that you. Sakonko. Konsele. Benkushishi. Benkukala. Ashakbekadi. Kashiame Amakitele. Santiago. Banabao. Ribao. Leaders forever. Semenshia Nyamianka. Dr. Akawe. Agroneye. Fresh girls. Forever young. Soldier. Enyebete. Girls. You will see Kabasa. Munotiki. She. Lagata. Munotiki. She. DJ Uncle.
You know the part I really like?
Yeah.
The RJ. That's what I like.
That's all you heard.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it for tonight's edition of Newsnight. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. I've been here with.
And my name is Mensah. Enjoy the rest of your evening.